Hello viewers. Last time I spoke with you, that was last month, beginning of last month, when I was in Istanbul en route to Dubai for the cricket match, the World Cup. Unfortunately, we couldn't attend Dubai, but we ended up in Pakistan, and we spent nearly 1 month in Pakistan, and that I am going to uh, go into deep discussion regarding our trip in Pakistan. That is going to be later on. But at the moment, I would like to inform you that our trip to Egypt is going to go ahead, although there are restrictions from the British government for the PCR test. When you leave this country and when you arrive, you have to do your PCR test. It's quite costly for one person. You can get it done for about £60-65 from the Manchester airport, and the results comes up within 24 hours. So we have already, as we have already booked for the Egypt trip, so we have to do that PCR test within 72 hours prior to our flight to Egypt. So when we'll come back from Egypt, then again this PCR test has to be booked from Sharm el-Sheikh. This is Egypt where we are going. Although we'll be traveling to Cairo as well, and all the pyramids, all the information we can get from Middle East. So that is going to be really exciting. Although this is not the right time to travel anywhere in the world because of the uncertainty of this Omicron virus. Reason being that any country could be listed as a red list. So if we ended up like we have already planned now, because if we won't go, we lose all the money we have paid for this trip. And we are going to take this risk to go to Egypt and explore the country there, and there are historical places, museums, mosques, pharaohs, various things. I'm getting the information. Although the weather is going to be much better than the weather we are having in the United Kingdom. So looking forward for this trip, and I'll have you posted all the outcome of that. With regards to Pakistan trip, which we have done, spent nearly 4 weeks in Pakistan, we will discuss quite few scenarios, a few problems, few things that has been happening in Pakistan, how people are surviving, and how expensive and difficult it has become to live in Pakistan, and to whom we can blame. That's another issue. So I myself witnessed a few incidents there, which I would like to share it with you in my next video. That is related to Pakistan. So we'll carry on with our Egypt trip, and I'll keep you updated. One thing I would like to share with you is the flight we took from Pakistan to Manchester, United Kingdom. Although it was a Turkish Airline, and we all know it's quite competitive airline, and it has got very good reputation. But the way we have been treated by the administration, by the management of Turkish Airline, was a really is a cause for concern. Our flight from Lahore, Allama Iqbal International Airport, was scheduled for 8 o'clock. We arrived early in the morning, about 5:45 a.m. and we were told the flight has been delayed till 2 o'clock. And that was uncertain because the Turkish staff were coming with various details of this flight. Initially they said because of this weather in Pakistan, Lahore, smog, that is the mixture of fume and the fog, that really creates health hazard for people as well. I myself had a breathing problem there as well. So hopefully, fingers crossed, when it rains in Pakistan, then this will go away. that had nothing to do with the flights landing or taking off, because all other airlines were landing and taking off except Turkish Airline. Then after a couple of hours, we were told that this is something to do with the runway. There is something happened at the runway, so that's why the plane couldn't land. That was another lie from Turkish staff over there, because all of the flights from Abu Dhabi, Dubai, various other countries were landing and taking off accordingly. There wasn't any issue at all. So after saying 2 o'clock, then they said 4:30, then they said 3:30. To cut the story short, we were there for 10 hours more time than it was initially scheduled. And during that time, the staff wasn't helpful, Turkish Airline. We were not given any food. We were not provided any hotel. According to international law, they must have provided us with the hotel accommodation, or at least with the food or food vouchers or anything. Nothing at all. People was really humiliated because they were not created. They didn't know what's going to happen. After 10 hours there, anyway, we took off from Lahore Allama Iqbal airport and we landed in Istanbul. Obviously, the connected flight has been missed, so they told us in Lahore that you will be provided with the hotel and food in Istanbul, which I thought is very unlikely. But Turkey, it's a 50-50 thinking what's going to happen. Eventually, we landed in Istanbul airport. It's a huge, massive airport, as you must have noticed from our previous videos, that is one of the best, or I would say the largest airport I witnessed. We landed there about midnight. It took us nearly 1 hour to find the help desk or the hotel desk, where they arranged for our shuttle to the very nice hotel. And once again, we were not provided with food or anything. So we landed about midnight, and we arrived at the hotel 2 a.m. and we were told you got only about 2-3 hours to take a rest or take a shower or get freshened. Then you have to come down to the reception area, because the shuttle will be ready to take you back to the airport, and the flight is going to be about 8:45. So no food was provided once again, and they said you can order at your own initiative. You have to pay for it. And for breakfast, is the same thing. No breakfast was given, and I think very unlikely 5 o'clock in the morning anywhere in the world they open for the breakfast. Normally 6 o'clock, the earliest I have seen. Anyway, arrived at the airport, and then the flight was on time, fortunately, and we landed at Manchester airport as scheduled. And this flight, which would have taken about 12-14 hours, has taken over 36 hours. So we landed there, and I did write to Turkish Airline explaining all the problems or the behavior or the attitude of the staff and the way have been treated. The reply wasn't fruitful, so I'm still going to pursue this matter further, because they are saying, well, we couldn't have any control of the weather, the sort of weather it was there in Pakistan, which was only for the Turkish airline. All other airlines were landing and taking off. There wasn't any problem. So that's still going on. And inshallah, as I've told you previously, we have planned for the Egypt trip, and I will bring you all the information regarding PCR or our trip. Hopefully it goes well, because the only concern of mine is if once we arrive in Egypt and Egypt goes into a red list, then as British law states that we have to quarantine on our arrival back in the United Kingdom, that is going to cost £2,285 per person. That is £2,285 per person is going to cost us. So I don't know whether we are going to stay in Egypt or we are going to, it's a gamble, it's a risk we have taken, so which we are going to take. And hopefully everything will be okay. So, and in few days, I'm going to explore more for our visit to Pakistan. 4 weeks we have spent, how the politicians are doing and how the public is doing. So I'm going to see you next time.